Hi, can you please tell us your name and where are you from?
My name is Paul Yagual. Everybody knows me as Lefty Paulie. Um, Born and raised in Brooklyn. Played handball in Queens in Brooklyn. Yeah.
What do you know about this ball?
Spalding.
Folding.
I heard a lot about it. I heard it was, the beginning of the sport. I came after this. I remember as a junior, I think early 2000s, I played in one tournament of these. It's fun. I wish I was around for it. I think my game would have really been productive or been. I think it would have just made my game a little bit better. But I enjoy it, really do.
There's a tournament June 15. On June 15.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Okay, where?
49 Park.
Oh, Raul's tournament. Correct. Yeah. I think Raul told me about it. I'm definitely gonna come by. I didn't know. Now that you just reminded me of it. Yeah, I'm excited. Shout out to Raul, man. Shout out to the 49 guys. Raul's. I know Raul for a very long time, since high school. He's a great dude. Always been a fanatic of the sport, man. I'm glad. If anybody would do the Spalding, it would be him.
It's him and Leshan, a young man, Leshan Garrido.
Okay.
He's doing
Okay.
it. But let me ask you, what do you like about this sport?
About handball
Yes,
in
sir.
general?
Yes, sir.
Oh man, where do I start? I think handball is great in many aspects. I think the main thing I love about handball is that anybody can play. Whether you're tall, short, skinny, overweight, skill comes from getting experience, playing against better players, also understanding how the game is played. I think out of everything, bringing a bunch of people together, there's no really dominant race, there's no dominant class. You get on and you play. There's some guys that play every day, there's other guys that play once a week, and they still come out, they're still competitive. Also, just the camaraderie between players. We have these different divisions, and you can tell, the Bs usually hang out with the Bs, they're close. The open players, they hang out with the open players. And it's good to see the younger guys now sort of integrating with the older players, just sort of asking for advice, sort of getting tips. Now with social media, we get to see a lot of the older games. So me being, 39, 40 years old, I'm able to see games from the 80s and from the 90s. And I would think, the younger guys would see games from the early 2000s when I was in my peak. And I get a ton of people that come up to me and are like, oh yeah, I saw you on this video. And I'm just one of those guys that never really watched myself play. But I do love watching the game. I love tournaments. It's just one of my things to do. I just think that this sport brings a lot of cultures, a lot of different personalities together, and they just sort of get put in a melting pot. And from there, it's just who knows what happens. Yeah.
Why you don't watch your games, man?
Why I don't watch my game? Oh man, that's a good question. I do watch. I have watched. Let me not say I do. I don't really like watching handball too much on TV, on YouTube. I rather the live. But there's not really that many videos of me to watch anyways. I think a lot of the videos from handball are either from the late 90s, the mid 90s, and then we have this whole social media, Facebook generation, YouTube, that's now. There's only maybe 3 or 4 guys that would actually record games back when I was playing, and it just hasn't gone out. I did have VHS, which not so many young guys know what that is. I had VHSs. I had maybe 2 or 3 VHSs of some handball tournaments that I played in and stuff like that. But I don't know. I rather play than watch myself. I'm not that egotistical to watch myself. But also, I think that I've learned everything that I've needed to learn when it comes to playing handball. You know, I think it's a good thing to watch tape, and when you're trying to get better, you can watch yourself play, see what you do right, see what you do wrong, see what's effective. But you know, I'm not learning any new tricks right now, so I'm just worrying about seeing the competition. I enjoy watching the younger guys play. I enjoy watching Taiwan. I still enjoy watching Timbo. I love watching Carlene play. Davo, Gio, you know, guys that I've played with for a long time. And the newer guys that I don't really get to play. I like to watch them play. I think it's exciting. I think, you know, they all bring their own style to play, and it's just a great thing to watch.
The more you talk, the more questions I get.
Yeah. I get that a lot from people that talk to me.
You say egotistical. Let's talk about the ego in the game. What's up with that?
So, I think I say egotistical because I know my character. I'm a very confident. I've always been a very confident player. I've played against, and a lot of people would say the golden era of handball, would say late 90s to like early 2000s, maybe like prior to maybe 2010, 11. You know, that time frame, there was so many players. This is the rookie era, you know. When it comes to ego and character, I think they go hand in hand. But I say ego for myself. I know being confident on the court plays a huge role. A lot of people may call it ego, but also it's a fine line, you know. You got to know really somebody to call them egotistical. I know myself. I know a couple of the other guys. You know, and we joke around with each other, but it's more about confidence. You know, this tournament with Colleen, he won. You know, he's made it as far and played as good as he did because he's confident. He knows his game. Some people outside may call him cocky and, oh my God, look at him. Look what he's doing. Look how he's playing. Look at what he's saying to himself and how he's trying to put stuff into the game. But sometimes, you know, it takes you pumping yourself up to get confident. I think a lot of the younger guys are a little misconstrued as what somebody is when they're egotistical and when they're just trying to be as confident as they can. Are there egos in this game? 100%. I think we all carry ourselves to our standard, if not a little bit higher. But again, it's somebody's character. You know, I love the guys that I play against. The players, the B players are learning it. I think they're getting an ego before they really deserve it. But again, you know, that goes to, it depends who you talk to and who we're talking about. Some guys walk around think they're the best, and they're the same guys that look for reasons as to why they lose. Other guys lose and still play and still walk around with a certain confidence that you can tell. And it's just a matter of them just getting more experience, playing more games, and, you know, just carrying yourself a certain way. I think for the most part, the newer guys are trying to be more professional. I think that they should be watching, you know, the older guys and the top players, well, certain type players that do carry themselves in a professional manner, not an egotistical, you know.
What's a professional manner?
A profession, you know, being a lot of us want to treat this sport as a professional sport. I don't think we're there yet. But what I do think, being a professional is just having the same attitude on and off the court. Being respectful, not only to whoever you're playing against, but also refs and hosts, and carrying yourself in a way where if you had kids watching you, would they want to play after they saw you play? We're talking, you know, if you're in a tournament and you're arguing with all the refs and you know, you're telling yourself, you know, you're trying to hype yourself up, but also you're bringing somebody's character or you're calling them out on something. Is that really professional? You know, we're, like I tell a lot of the guys, we're in a very unique sport. Our crowd and our audience is right there in front of us. There's not a lot we can say that they're not going to hear. So when you're being a professional, you know, people compare this to like basketball and football, where these guys are in arenas and nobody's really on the microphone. So yeah, they may be talking smack, and cursing each other and doing all this, but nobody hears it. We're in a sport where if I'm gonna curse somebody out, everybody's gonna hear it. So, you know, are we really acting professional? So, you know, there's always room for, you know, talking smack during the game. But as you saw with Colleen and Kadeem, not once did they tell each other they suck. Not once did they tell each other, you know, this or that. They didn't call each other out of their names. It was never more of a back and forth towards themselves, but more of I'm gonna do what I need to hype myself up. I'm not gonna need to bring my opponent down so I can get better. And I think that's really just carrying yourself in a professional manner. You know, people, you know, doing certain things, doing drugs on and off the court. You know, one can argue, yeah, well, these pros go out, they drink and do other stuff, but they don't do it on a timeout. You know, they don't. If somebody's recording, they're not showing that. You know, again, it goes back to where our sport is. You know, as long as everybody's been playing the sport, we're still in a sort of infant stage when it comes to being a professional sport. And I think that it's just the minor tweaks that can go a long way.
The most important and last question: would you support making one wall handball an Olympic sport?
Oh, I think I think that's the goal. I mean, it's always been the goal since I started playing. You know, I started playing in 98, 99. I got 25 years playing. And since the beginning, it's something that it's always been. You know, we're good at this sport. You know, we come from not the same area, but we come from all the same places. You know, we get to see each other. You know, the Olympic sort of aspect of it, it's the goal for everybody. I think that the community as a whole can do it. We just need the right people in the right places, and we just need everyone to come together and have one goal and sort of figure out a plan. You know, everybody in the Army, you go to any special forces, everybody sort of has their role. I don't think that the community has confidence in people to have specific roles to get us to where we need to go. And the sooner we can get there, I think the better position will be to get into the Olympics.
Wonderful. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, brother.